So I'm gonna try and act like a chef.
Don't.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another video and a brand new segment.
Cooking with Chef Nazia!
So for today's video, I'm doing something to improve my culinary skills, which are in dire need of improvement. So I've decided to challenge myself and follow Gordon Ramsay's recipes and try to do them as perfectly as I can. So I'm going to pick 3 of his recipes and try to recreate them exactly as he did, and it's gonna take a lot of courage and good luck and prayers from all of you. So let's start cooking. Dish that I'm going to be making following Gordon Ramsay's recipe is his famous scrambled eggs. He has mentioned the perfect way to make these eggs on a lot of TV shows, and basically everyone who follows him knows that this is one of his most popular recipes that people actually follow. So I'm going to try to make that perfect scrambled eggs on a toasted sourdough bread with mushrooms and tomatoes as sides. So the 2 most crucial things that you have to keep in mind while following this recipe is that you have to continuously stir the eggs and that the pan has to be
On the heat and off the heat. On the heat and off the heat.
and this technique is recommended by Chef Gordon Ramsay because this helps to make the eggs more creamier, fluffier and more rich, because we do not want runny scrambled eggs. We want them to be thick and fluffy. So let's get cooking. Wish me luck, guys. I'm going to start making the scrambled eggs like Gordon Ramsay's, and I'm going to follow his instructions to the maximum because I usually never follow the instructions of recipes because I think I know better. But now, since I don't want to look like a idiot sandwich, I'm going to follow his instructions to the T. And the things we're gonna need for our scrambled, for the perfect scrambled eggs, are some mushrooms, tomatoes and lime, sourdough bread because that's what Gordon Ramsay uses, obviously eggs, butter, crème fraîche, and chives. So like I mentioned, the most critical part is making the scrambled eggs because it has to be on the heat and off the heat, on the heat and off the heat, and there is no specific timing. You just have to like go with your instincts.
And my instincts are pretty bad when it comes to cooking.
So now I'm gonna prep my mushrooms and chives so that they can go into the pan while I work on my eggs. So now I'm gonna toast my sourdough bread. So Gordon Ramsay instructs us to have a thick slice of bread, and that's what I did. So now I'm gonna put the oil here to roast our mushrooms and tomatoes. Putting the mushrooms in the pan, season them with some salt, some freshly ground pepper. So we have to, as Gordon Ramsay instructed, we have to put the tomatoes on the vines, but it looks like not all the tomatoes are on the vines. So I'm just gonna scrap those that have them on the vines. It's not gonna look as pretty as his, but so I also seasoned the tomatoes with salt and pepper. So I'm going to take 3 eggs and break them into this pot. And Gordon Ramsay told us to put the butter even before mixing in the eggs. So I'm just going to put a knob of butter in. So as you can see, the pan is not on the heat as for now, so the trick is to put it now on the heat so that the butter melts, and keep stirring it and then take it off the heat and then put it on the heat and take it off the heat and put it off the heat
Until it becomes creamy.
Making scrambled eggs has never been this stressful. So apparently I can't stop stirring because it's a live thing.
Not yet.
Okay, so it's creamy enough, so I'm going to take it off the heat.
এটার মধ্যে রাখলে কি হয় আমি জানতে চাই, এটার মধ্যেই রাখো।
So we're looking for a super creamy texture and not a watery texture, so I've been stirring for a while and it's getting there, I think. It's not as fast as Gordon Ramsay's. So we're gonna add half a tablespoon of creme fraiche to bring the temperature down and then season it. And we didn't season it previously because then it wouldn't be as fluffy and creamy and it would get watery, and we don't want that. Now I'm gonna season with some salt, pepper, and chives. Some pepper, some chives to give it some sexiness. Smells really nice. Everything's done, it's time for plating up. So let's start plating this delicious scrambled eggs. We're gonna spray some olive oil on our toasted sourdough bread. I'm gonna plate my mushrooms. I thought I could do it with hey, got 'em. This smells so good. Now, for the main part, the taste test, and see if it actually tastes good. I really hope it tastes good because my arm hurts from just stirring and stirring and stirring. I wish you guys could smell it because it smells amazing. I had never had scrambled eggs like this before, like ever. This is so creamy and buttery and so fresh, and the chives actually do make it sexier. This is worth the effort. This is unlike any other scrambled eggs I've ever had before. And I know why Gordon Ramsay told us to use sourdough, because it perfectly complements the creamy, buttery egg, because it's like I said, it's very robust and strong. And it just gives it the amazing hold that the scrambled eggs need. So my vine tomatoes are perfectly juicy and the seasoning is just perfect. Let's have the mushroom. I love mushrooms. You can never go wrong with mushrooms. This is an amazing breakfast. Would I make it every day? Probably not. But am I enjoying this, and would I make it again? Definitely. And if I could do it, I'm pretty sure you can do it. So just go ahead and try it. This is an amazing scrambled eggs. I'm gonna finish my breakfast and I'll see you when I make the next dish. So now it's round 2 of me making Gordon Ramsay's recipes. So since the first one went kind of well, I'm kind of confident now that maybe I can do it. So the next dish that I'm going to make is Gordon Ramsay's stir-fried noodles with broccoli and chicken. And he fell in love with this delicious yet simple dish. And now I'm going to try and recreate this dish to the best of my possibilities. And again, I'm going to watch him do it while I do it so that I don't make any mistakes. So this dish requires only 3 key ingredients: rice noodles, broccoli, and chicken. So the first step is soaking the rice noodles in hot water. So the next step is to pour some hot water over the rice noodles and to cover it properly. Quickly changing the pot because obviously I messed up. So we're just going to leave this to the side while we work on our other ingredients. So Gordon Ramsay actually flattened out his chicken before cutting it into strips, but I actually bought diced chicken breasts and I don't have a rolling pin, so I'm just gonna punch them and hope it works. So he told us to make it in thin strips so that it just cooks quicker and it's crispier, but it's okay. It's okay. So there's the chicken pieces covered in parchment paper, and this is the pot we're using because punching the chicken wasn't really working.
And you're not strong enough.
Slicing time. So I'm gonna try to make it as thin as possible. Is it too thin?
No, it's fine. It's perfect.
Why don't you be chicken?
Nah, ठीक है sir.
I hope I'm doing it right because I don't have much confidence of my culinary skills.
Yeah, we're supposed to use the young tender broccoli, but we don't have that. We couldn't find it, so we're just gonna use a regular broccoli.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference, is it?
Sorry, Gordon Ramsay.
So I'm going to cut them into small pieces because you want that crunch of the broccoli, apparently. So usually when we use broccoli in a dish, we usually blanch it or boil it, but Gordon Ramsay recommends to just stir fry it so that it gives a nice little crunch. So our broccoli's done. Now we're gonna chop up some garlic. Cutting up the garlic and then we start with our cooking. So I'm gonna thinly slice my garlic. So everything I need for the dish is right here. As Gordon Ramsay says, it's right on our fingertips. Chicken, broccoli, garlic. Now let's get cooking. So putting our wok on fire on the stove. Putting some oil. Ooh, where's your thing?
No, take a sec.
Now coat the pan. I'm gonna put my chicken in. So I'm gonna try and act like a chef.
Don't.
Oh, what's that? It's too big. Hey, what's that? Fail. Hoilo na kano? Ang pari na yun. I think our chicken and broccoli is done, which I'm going to set aside on this pan. You hear that sizzle. I'm gonna wipe the pan off, put some oil in, and then I'm gonna put my eggs in there. And also strain my noodles first.
Quickly wiping down the pan.
So I'm gonna break my eggs.
Oh God, stop trying that. You are not Gordon Ramsay.
But
You can do
okay,
it.
keep have a car. I want to know. How does he break his eggs in? Oh, see? I did it. I am Gordon Ramsay.
I need to show how I this.
All 50%.
I can't
All 50%. Make sure it's not an omelette and it's like scrambled eggs. So our noodles is done and I'm so excited to dig in. So before he starts eating, Gordon Ramsay usually squeezes a fresh piece of lime, but we don't. I just realized we don't have lemon or lime at home. So I'm just gonna use some lemon juice.
Just a tiny bit.
Gonna get some noodle, some chicken, some broccoli. Add it.
How is it?
Oh my god. This is really tasty, and he was right. Not boiling the broccoli before adding it really gives it a nice bite to it and a crunch to it, which is much needed in this dish. And the soy sauce and the garlic, you can taste it in the chicken. And the eggs are really nice as well. It gives it a magic touch.
But it's a very simple recipe. Is it that good?
It is actually really good. Why don't you try it?
Yeah, let me try. Because honestly, I feel like...
Especially the broccoli. It just gives it such a nice bite. I love the crunch.
Okay, yeah, this is actually really good. It's actually kind of weird, like something so simple. It tastes this good.
Hats off to Gordon Ramsay for such a simple recipe that even I could do it with so much ease. Pretty sure you guys can do it even more easily, so do try this because this is so good and it's so easy and simple and you don't really need much. So I'm gonna finish this up and then try my next recipe, which is going to be tuna fish cakes. So I'm really excited for that as well because I love tuna. So I'll see you guys then. So now it's time for the final recipe that I'm going to follow for Gordon Ramsay's, and it's something that I'm really excited about because I love the protein I'm going to use, which is tuna, and we're going to be making this tuna fish cakes. So this is a pretty straightforward dish, and the ingredients we're going to need are spring onion, some kaffir lime leaves, ginger, coriander, red chilies, egg, and of course tuna chunks. So I'm using canned tuna and I've already drained the tuna so that the process goes easier. And one more thing that was needed for this recipe was water chestnuts, which Gordon Ramsay claimed that you can find it in any big supermarkets, and I've been to most of the big supermarkets and I didn't find them. Maybe I was looking at the wrong place. And this is the only thing that I'm deviating from the recipe, but I'm going to follow everything else piously. So yeah, it shouldn't go wrong. Prepping my ingredients. Hiya. So I'm using dried kaffir lime leaves. If you can find the fresh ones, you can use them. So you have to remove the chili seeds that's inside so that it's not spicy. And I've seen him do this technique and I'm going to try and do it. Chopping up the corianders, kuchi. Now it's time to prep the tuna, and I have to grate the ginger on top of the garlic. Just like Chef.
What about the garlic?
Oh, sorry. So now it's time to prep the tuna, and I have to grate the ginger on top of the tuna, just like Chef Ramsay did, and just like how Chef Nazia will do. I'm going to add everything that I just chopped up and incorporate them into the tuna. Spring onions, kaffir lime leaves, coriander, my red chilies. Now give them all a nice mix with your hands. So I added some fish sauce to it, and now I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper. So the final step now is to add one egg to this and mix it up, and then we have to make it into a ball shape and then press it down so that it's flat. It's kind of like a cutlet or a chop, if you want to call it. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, because if you don't I feel like when you mix things with your hand, it just gives it a different flavor and the ingredients are well incorporated. So now I'm gonna make them into a round shape and then fry them up and then have my cakes. Can't wait. I'm going to fry these up, and they don't take much longer. It's just like 2 minutes on each side because the tuna is already cooked. So
How do you feel?
like a chef, accomplished. Creator. So I'm really excited to try this because this smells amazing, and I think the kaffir lime leaves really makes a difference because you can really smell that lime, and the fish sauce is giving such a nice fishy smell. Obviously it's fish sauce. So yeah, I'm really excited to try this tuna fish cake. This is so good. This is so good. It's kind of like chops we have back home. It's basically that, but without the potato or the extra breadcrumbs. So it's a bit lighter. It tastes very fresh because of all these, because of the spring onions, the chilies, the coriander, the kaffir lime. Everything just gives it a nice fresh oriental vibe. Really loving this, and it's really light. And maybe the next time I make it, I'll try to find the water chestnut to see if it actually makes a difference. But as of now, I love this. I'm really enjoying this. This tastes amazing. Of all the ones that I've made, I made his scrambled eggs, I made his Asian broccoli and chicken noodles, I made his tuna fish cakes. It might sound very lame, but this is my favorite recipe because I'm really enjoying this. It was so easy to make. You just assemble everything, mix everything, fry it. For me trying to take on Gordon Ramsay's recipes. And yes, I know what you're thinking, that the recipes I selected were pretty easy, but I did that. That was intentional. Because if you've seen my previous cooking videos, I am not a good chef. I am not a good cook. I am a beginner, and probably even then I'm really bad. So yeah, I chose recipes that were interesting, popular, yet something that I could pull off. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to share this video, share your thoughts on the comment section, like this video, subscribe to our channel. Also, do you want to see me cook other famous chefs' recipes like Jamie Oliver's or Nigel Lawson? Do share your thoughts below, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace!